The Persistent Rumor presents Chocolate Yoddah Live.
Hey folks, Chocolate Yoddah here, spelled Y-O-D-D-A-H, because film studios are litigious. Welcome to another installment of Chocolate Yoddah Live. Today is Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. I know that because the internet told me so. Welcome to everyone on Wisdom and everyone on Clubhouse. I'm watching you guys through Club Deck, but that's none of your business. So today, what's on my mind is actually something that happened yesterday. Yesterday I was talking to someone, happened to be a man, and I shared with the listeners that I thought that he was a handsome man. And he laughed about it, I laughed about it, and I wasn't joking. I mean, I think he's a handsome guy, right? But it made me think about how uncomfortable men sometimes get in those situations. You know, when you're watching guys, especially, it seems like this is like younger guys. There was a phrase they used to use, but I guess because of YouTube, they stopped using it and started using this new word. Anytime they got to a situation where it was a man like saying anything complimentary about another man or anything flattering or anything that could be quote unquote misconstrued, they'd say, pause, right? Pause. And that's to make sure that everyone knew that they knew that they were aware that something they were saying might sound kind of homosexual, right? Very important that that people knew that the person speaking wasn't gay. They want to make sure. Pause, everybody. I want you to understand that I'm not gay. Now, hopefully you can tell by the sound of my voice that I think that's absolutely ridiculous, right? And if you want to understand one of the contributing factors to why men on average die 7 years earlier than women, this is a hint. This is one of those hints that might help you understand that. Imagine being so stressed out about your ideas about what's unacceptable in society that if you say something even hinting at the possibility that you are homosexual, that you've got to stress out and make sure that everybody knows you're not. You know, Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians, talks about a similar thing. How, you know, you, as a man, you can't admit that puppies are cute or you like flowers or something like that. Like, the stress of that just abrades your soul over time. You know, I mean, what a thing to worry about. Because the thing that's really sinister about that is, of course, you're very clearly suggesting that being gay is wrong. And that's the thing that I really hate the most about this issue. I mean, yeah, I think what it does to you as an individual is harmful, but the thing that you're implying is, I think, even more harmful, or at least equally as harmful. Like, really, what do we gotta... I can't look at a man and appreciate that he looks good? That he's handsome? Are you kidding me? Have you seen Idris Elba? You know, like... you know what I say if anyone asks me if I'm gay? My answer is, not so far. And I say that because of how I feel when I look at Idris Elba. I don't know what'll happen if I meet that dude. He's a good-looking man, you know? Ryan Reynolds? Come on, you saw him in Crazy Stupid Love with his shirt off? With all due respect to Ryan Reynolds, I meant to say Ryan Gosling. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I know you watch my podcast, and it was just a momentary slip. I'm very, very sorry, but it was Ryan Gosling. And please remember to like and subscribe. Back to the show. Guy's an Adonis. You gonna tell me I can't appreciate his beauty without worrying, oh my God, someone will think I'm gay. I don't care if you think I'm gay, because there's nothing wrong with being gay, you stupid idiot. Looks like we have someone wanting to come in. I will get to you shortly, Truly Julie. I mean, man, like, isn't it hard enough being a man? To those women out there, I need to sidetrack for a moment. To those women out there, because I've had women say this to me. I had a friend of mine say this to me on Facebook one time. I wish I was a man. It's so much easier. On what planet? Because it ain't Earth. Like I said, we die on average 7 years earlier than you. We're the ones doing the dying in the wars. We're the ones doing the dying in the most dangerous jobs. We're the ones putting in the most prison time when we get convicted of the same crime that a woman commits. We're the one putting in the longest hours at work. We're the ones responsible for your protection. Please tell me how that equals easier. Maybe I don't understand what that word means. But take my word for it, as a man with a 59-year history of being a man, it ain't easy. And then when we're trying to attract you, we got to satisfy this long list of criteria. We got to make this. We got to do this. We got to, we got to protect you. Oh, let me just mention this. I love how casually women say we need men to protect us. And by the way, I agree with you, but I want you to understand what that means. When you want a man to protect you, let's say another man is bothering you. Let's say, you know, the archetypal example of like when someone breaks in. You know, I used to insist on sleeping closest to the door just in case. But I want you ladies to understand what that means. This is a reality of men that you never have to think about, and good for you. I'm not mad at you for it, but I want you to understand this. When you say you want a man who protects you, what you're saying is that you want a man who is willing to die for you. Because if we protect you, and we do, we are running the risk of being murdered by someone. You know, women don't know this, but when two guys are passing each other on the street, if they lock eyes for too long, one of them might die. You think I'm making that up? Almost 2 men every day die in a fist fight. And how's it usually start? What are you looking at? What's your problem, bro? This ain't no joke. When you want a man to protect you, you are asking that man to be willing to die for you. And how amazing are men that we are willing to do that. And you say it's easier being a man? Shut up. This is real, folks. This is real. You tell a guy he looks good, you might die. It's ridiculous, but it's real. And I just wish we lived in a world where that didn't exist. I'm a big guy, so guys generally don't think it's a good idea to mess with me. That's just luck of the draw. As I've said before, not only am I big, but I look like 90% of the composite sketches out there. It just doesn't seem like a good idea to try to hassle me. But there are guys out there, we live in a hierarchy, man, predator prey. We live in a hierarchy, and there are guys that look like they can be messed with. And there are guys that are abusive, man. They'll look at a guy like that and be like, yo, what's up, man? They test a dude. They do the chin check. What are you about, bro? You about it? And the it in that sentence is being willing to die right here, right now. Ladies don't live under those kinds of stresses, and good for you. I'm glad you don't. It's awful. But that's that whole pause thing. Oh, we gotta make sure nobody thinks we're gay. It's one of the dumbest things, man. But it's real. It's absolutely real. So that's what was on my mind. I'm going to close out YouTube, but I'm going to bring up Truly Julie in a moment. But guys, let's try to be better than that. I get it. I get what our DNA tells us to do. I understand the inherent violence that is in our gender. And that violence, unfortunately, is necessary. That's how you hunt and gather and protect. That's our job. And I willingly accept that job, but I understand what it means. But let's not beef with each other if we don't have to. Sometimes you gotta. I get it. I get it. When Rodney King asked, why can't we all just get along? No. I wish we could, but we can't. But anyway, that's it for today. A little bit of a short YouTube podcast, but I'm going to continue with the Wisdom app. And just remind everybody, I do this every day, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/@thepersistentrumor. And you can see the 200 plus videos that I have up there, or you can click on the live tab and catch all the live stuff, either live or when it's archived, whatever your pleasure. All right. But until we meet again, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon. Let's continue the conversation on the Wisdom app. What's happening? How are you?
I'm all right. You're not sorry about that.
I'm a little bit.
I was listening to you, and I just wanted to pop in really and say, when I used to go on dates with my partner, I was quite a lively kind of person, I'd be quite loud in a room, and he used to get this feeling, and I talked about protection and roles of the male, that as a female we don't always see. It's impossible for us to understand the role that a male plays and the things that they experience. And I'd say it from this point of view. So I would go out and I'd have a laugh, I'd be loud and leery. And my partner, Brad, he would be on edge. He couldn't relax because he thought that if anything kicked off, it would be him in the first line of aggravation as my protector. I didn't ask him to protect me, but that is what he wished to do for me, even though I was kind of risky. So to him, he would say, "You're a risky person to go out with because we never know what's going to kick off." And I have to spend a lot of time on edge because I'm the male half of this partnership. And also the thing about providing, a male earns more money, say, or they have stronger bodies, so they do harder work. I totally see that. I totally see that. And my partner then, if I'm having to work harder than him, it kind of dents him a little as having to be this provider, protector kind of thing, So it kind of robs him of his feeling of being masculine. And that's terrible. I think that's a terrible thing. That these kind of stipulations and rules have been placed on males, and the actions that males feel they have to perform, play. I mean, there should be nothing in the world wrong with you going up to another man and saying, "You look absolutely brilliant. You are really looking good today. I admire you." You shouldn't have to worry that person's going to say to you, "Excuse me, what you on about? You being funny? Are you funny?" Do you know what I mean? That shouldn't be occurring in this day and age. If we seem to think that we are so civilized and so advanced, then this sort of attitude is long gone. It's the same as many, many traditions. People harp on about traditions. Some traditions, the reason they're gone is because they're not right. Just because it's a traditional way of behaving doesn't mean to say it's compatible with the day now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I want to quickly address this idea of what should be happening in the quote unquote modern world. I don't believe there's any truth to any of that because I long ago did my best to eliminate the usage of should and shouldn't, because anything that's happening should be happening, in my opinion. And the idea of that shouldn't have happened, well, if it happened, then yes, it should have happened. And this idea that somehow because of what year it is an indicator that we should be better than what we are, I don't think hasn't.
We claim
Right.
already to be, not we
Yeah.
should be. It's what is.
Yeah.
This is our claim.
Right. And so I've gotten rid of that lamentation because I hear people talk about, oh, well, the evolution, we've evolved. And it's like, yeah, but evolution takes millions of years. And the fact is that our brains are the same as if you look at brains from 100,000 years ago, they're still the same now. And chances are they're the same as what they were 300,000 years ago when we emerged as Homo sapiens, right? So, we aren't better because we aren't better. This is, a lot of it has to do with religion. A lot of it has to do with society, these weird rules about how people are supposed to act, and the taboos that exist in the society, like with regard to the homosexuality thing, because if you buy into those taboos, then as men, you're going to be sensitive about that. So if anybody suggests that you're gay and you think it's a bad thing to be gay, you're going to be defensive. And, this was just a microcosmic example. and it sparked off my thoughts about how hard it is to be a man, and you beautifully exemplified that by talking about the story of your partner, and at the end of the day, I hope people understand that what your partner was willing to do to protect you was die for you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. And it is kind of what I found really useful was the way he worded and shared that experience with me, because that's not something that occurs for me.
Yeah.
And the nearest I could get to it is being a mother. That's the nearest I can get to that.
Right.
The will to be a good mother, what I kind of perceive as what a good mother is. So that would be something that is bestowed upon me
Right.
in my mind from me, from society, from the way that we live. And this is what you're talking about as a
Yeah.
male.
Right. And so let me expand on your idea, because you brought up an excellent point that I didn't even think about. So our instincts as parents, they're predicated on a couple of things. But what's interesting, one of the big differences, because there's actually very few differences between men and women in a very tangible way. But this is one of them. The chemicals that course through your body at childbirth, even when they coincide, because men have some of those chemicals, right? When we see our offspring emerge into life, into the world, we have chemicals that course through our bodies, but even when they coincide with the chemicals that a woman has, they're not nearly as strong, right? And you have, I think, one or two extra chemicals that course through your body to bond you to that child. So I'm frankly not that impressed that men and women are willing to protect their children. That's baked into your DNA. But the man who is willing to protect a woman that is not related to by blood, I think that's even more profound.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. I do too. And that was the nearest I could get, like I said. It's the nearest I could get, even though it's, as you said, it's the bonding and the chemical interaction that you have. But it's the nearest I could get to understanding
Yeah.
how he was feeling.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
you said, without that absolute chemical connection,
Yeah.
it just blew me away what is expected of males and the way that women see their lives as easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because
that's why
to
once in a
me,
while, once,
I would
go ahead.
never want to be a male. I never want to be a male. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
built for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd like to be a woman for a day just to experience a few things that I can't right now. But you know,
I've said the same. Yeah, those bits. Play with them all day. In fact, I think if I could swap to be a male, and I'm going to confess this to you and to the rest of the world right now, and I have had this conversation before with family. If I was a male, I don't know if I'd be such a pleasant male if I could do it for a day as I am in my responsibility of being a female.
sure, sure, and that makes and that makes perfect sense because power corrupts, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, and I feel the same way. As a woman, I would be a whore.
You're getting my gist because that's what
Yeah,
Brad said. That's what
yeah,
Brad
yeah,
said as well. Yeah.
yeah. Because of the power that you have as a woman, I would abuse that power completely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the big deal on that. So, having someone close to me that can describe this experience of male is wonderful. And when you were talking about it, I just wanted to pop in and have a chat as well. But
I absolutely appreciate it.
you're amazing. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Chocolate
and
Yoddah. It's
and
been a
and
pleasure.
and and yeah, and before you go, I want to thank you because I know it's late for you, and you mentioned that normally you'd be in bed by now. So thank you very much for hanging in there and participating.
It's not too bad in a minute. It's 19:25, so it's 7:30. But I am going to fly off now and stop pacifying myself with wisdom and other such distractions and get on with my homework.
All right.
That's what I'm going to do now. Take care. Much love and thank you.
All right. Thank you again. All right, folks. So we have another guest waiting. And while I bring that person in, just one thing I want to say to ladies. Now that you understand this, please share this with your lady friends. And once in a while, just once in a while, turn to your man, look deep in his eyes, and just say thank you. Doesn't have to be a big deal, but just acknowledge who he is and what he is willing to do for you. I think that would be a lovely thing. Oh, Greg from Greg's Take. My brother from another mother. The first person that I followed on Wisdom. What's up, my friend?
Hey, good conversation. A couple of things. Two of them are things that I'm repeating from someone else. Number one, feminism at its root is cultural revolution. It has nothing to do with equality and everything to do with power. That's what true feminism is. So, upset or not, I'm not worried about that. That's not the armchair quarterback feminism that these young people are being taught in college, but they are being groomed. And the strongest, darkest, or the weakest, whoever's making the observation, will be culled from that herd and brought into the fold. So enough about that. The other thing that I'm repeating that I heard is men don't protect women because women are weak. Men protect women because they're valuable, right? And then the third thing I'll say is I've been thinking about this a bit lately, and you guys touched on it. This thing about evolution. And we think, oh, we've come so far. And it's like, no, it's really, really slow, like you said. And I thought recently, what if our evolution is God's evolution? Right? Whether it's fast or slow is pretty much irrelevant. But I don't think it's anything special about us if we say, well, we pull our wisdom teeth out now because our jawbone, this, that, and the third. Who cares? Just live life. Right? It's like, let's stand around and watch each other's hair grow, and then we'll talk about it. Really? Don't you have anything better to do? I don't know if any of that made any sense.
Oh, of course it did. Of course it did. But I'm never sure it's an endorsement to say that it made sense to me, right? But
but here I want to address the feminism thing because I think the nuance of it is very important to bring out, because I know you don't hate women. I know that you find women as beautiful and valuable as I do, right? I love women, but I just think they're goofy, right? and and I don't believe that those two things are at odds, right? So here's the thing. The thing that you're referring to is that feminism started out one way, but it changed to something else, right? And the thing that it changed from was equality for women, which I think was right and necessary, to hatred of men, which is, I think, very destructive and very cancerous, because when you start talking about the hierarchy, I'd love to know what you're referring to. I'd love, when you talk about this is a patriarchal hierarchy, it isn't, because that suggests tyranny and that suggests oppression on a major scale. And where is that happening? I don't see that, because, the trump card that women often pull out is violence against women. Well, I'm sorry, that's not your trump card. That's actually our trump card, since we suffer violence more than women do.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is no job you can't get unless there's a physical requirement that you can't meet, but that physical requirement also bars some men from meeting that requirement. So there is nothing going on now. And so turning to we hate men and men are misogynists and men are toxic, even the organization that is responsible for protecting women, an organization called RAINN, RAINN, they are the #1 organization in America that protects women, and possibly worldwide. And they have denounced the idea of toxic masculinity, of the patriarchy as as an evil hierarchy, because the patriarchy is simply a mammalian hierarchy. Most mammals on Earth, and there's something like 6,800 species of mammals, and only 7 of them are matriarchal in nature. So nature is mimicking what we're doing because we're nature, right? So, there is no mystery here. Like, just because we're a patriarchy doesn't mean we're inherently evil, and to suggest that has become problematic, because now you have a culture where by 2030, it's projected that 50% of women over 30 are going to be single and childless. That is an outcome that I believe is directly related to the change in the feminist movement.
Yep.
It's a problem, folks. Less people are having babies. That's a threat to the species.
All right.
China's having a problem right now with their imbalance between males and females.
Yeah. And that was another artificial attempt to control nature.
That's right, and that's the key. That it's there's so many layers, and I don't say that to say, oh, it would take us a week to unpack this. No, we've just shaved all the hair off of it and gotten straight down to what we're talking about. This is what we're dealing. There aren't any layers. There are layers added to it to camouflage it and make it appear to be more complex than it is. But our job is to deconstruct all of that supposed complexity and reveal the emperor for the nudist that he or she is.
Yeah.
This is a nut job in power that we've tolerated far too long. And I love what you said. If it happened, yes, it happened. Not it shouldn't have happened. It's happening because it happened. So everything that's happening right now, us tolerating all of this madness and any form of hate, whatever form it takes, feminism, whatever it is, it's happening because we want it to happen, or it wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And that's just the way that it is.
Yeah, and I'm reminded of that old saying: the road to hell is paved with good intention.
Sure.
I'm pretty certain that there's very few women sitting around rubbing their hands together going, how can we mess up men's lives today?
I agree.
But the unintended consequence of pivoting from equality for women to hatred of men, this is what's happened. You've created this consequence where the entire civilization is being threatened by that. And, of course, humans are very resilient, and I'm sure we're going to be okay. It's probably global climate change that's going to mess us up more than anything else. But, the fact is that on an interpersonal level, you've got guys that are now afraid to talk to a woman, just to say hi, just to say, how are you? Just to say, oh, you look nice today, or that's a beautiful dress, Sally. Like, how messed up is the game that you can't even give someone a genuine, heartfelt compliment for fear of retribution?
Yeah, the corporate America reeks with this crap, with all of this sexual harassment crap, and they rolled that out decades ago. It's sickening. Yeah. And here's the thing that someone taught me. They didn't do this intentionally. I think I sort of put it all together, generally speaking, like a rational person would, is the person who is offended is the one who gets to define the sexual discrimination.
Right.
And the person being accused of it is basically at their mercy. Now, you tell me how that's going to end.
Yeah. And what's just as sinister is that if John says hello to you, you're offended. If Brad says hello to you, you're not offended because you like Brad.
Yeah, exactly. The thing I've noticed here in the town that I work in, I love where I live. I love living in Tennessee. I love where I work. It's a great city. I'm starting to see a whole lot of little 90-pound female cops that are real tiny. I got no problem with you having that job if you're passing the physical requirements that all men are required to have, right? Well, Greg, that's a little skewed. I need you to put your feelings aside for 60 seconds and listen to me. You take a 90-pound female who's a tiny little thing soaking wet. I don't care how many guns she wears. I don't care how many tasers she has or how many handcuffs or batons she has. She is going to meet someone that is a male that she cannot handle, and she will pay with her life.
Yeah, I agree.
Eventually. It's a statistic.
Yeah, this wonderful comic who died in 2011 talked about this. Patrice O'Neill said, if you're he was a giant. He was like 6'4", 6'5", something like that, and just a football player, just a huge man. And he said, if you're a female cop, the only reason I'm not killing you is because I respect police.
That's right.
It's not because I can't.
Yep. Yeah. And I personally know a man who personally knows the hierarchy at the fire department in the town that I work in, and it's saturated with women. That is a male position, but it's been infiltrated with not the people in the spots, because I don't know them personally, so I'm not going to put words in their mouth. This is a result of feminism, right? It's a power grab is what it is. On its surface, it's a power grab. But as a result, we end up with cultural revolution. Police departments should not be fully stocked at the highest levels of authority with women, because that is not their nature. That is a job that requires testosterone. How many sniper females are we aware of in history? How many? Count them, please. I want names.
Right.
It's just not their nature.
It's a bottom line reality that, that's why you reminded me of this thing that happened in New Jersey last year, right around this time. A man who identified as a woman, a male prisoner who identified as a woman, was moved into a female prison. And what did he do? He impregnated 2 women.
Sure.
Now, luckily, and I use that word in quotes, he didn't sexually assault these women. It was consensual, but it's like, folks, how far down the rabbit hole of pretending are we going to go?
Yeah.
Let's stop pretending that there's no difference between men and women. Let's stop pretending that by proclamation you can obliterate your biology and become something else. And please understand, this is not anything against trans people. I want them to have every single right that everybody else has. I'm talking about the people that are pretending that there's no difference.
Yeah.
So yes, is there a difference between a 200-pound male police officer and a 200-pound female police officer? Yes. That male police officer is likely stronger.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to stop pretending. I don't understand what happened to society where it's like, yeah, we're just going to start taking your word for what reality is, and we're going to ignore the truth. And it's silly, but unfortunately, it's not funny, ha. It's funny, people are going to die.
Yeah, I will make this proclamation publicly in front of Chocolate Yoddah, God, and everyone listening. Thank you, architect of the universe, for making women soft and voluptuous. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There, I said that. I'm done.
Greg, you know that I absolutely love your mind, and I love your talks on wisdom. And this is one of maybe the first time that you actually got on one of my talks.
It is. Yeah, every time
later.
you're usually doing a soliloquy, and that's fine. I like doing soliloquies fairly often myself. I call it the opener. I disguise it as the opener. It's actually a soliloquy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. So all of your points I think are spot on, and if we're going to be adults, or if at least we're going to attempt to pretend to be adults, we have to be willing to look at the truth of a situation and accept that truth for what it is. Like, we can debate thoughts, ideas, philosophies, imagination, theories. We can debate those things all day long. I refuse to debate facts, and there are facts here.
I know this. If you are upset about the zygote that you showed up with, take it up with God. Don't seek political power over me because of it.
Yeah.
100%
Thank you for letting me in. I appreciate it.
You're the best, Greg. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, boys and girls. This has been spectacular. Let me see who is on. Little roll call on wisdom, life, love, lessons. Noble Ron, Cecilia Grace, Daryl with the dashes, Carlton Jones, Michael J., Mr. 2 Extra. That's, I love it. And I love the umlaut over the E. I'm not even sure how to say that. Excellent. Daily Shift. Jason Akashaman. Marguerite Isaac. Bling Vieira. Marcian. Christopher John Martin, I think. It's M-R-T-I. I see. M-A-R-T-I is what I see. John X. We heard from Greg's Take. Matthew Burris. T. Solo. Charente Carr. And Truly Julie. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for participating. This is fun stuff, folks. And like I said, I'm going to repeat this because I think it's important. Ladies, please just thank your man once in a while. Thank him for being a good dude. If he treats you right, if he's willing to die to protect you, he's a good dude. Thank him. Just thank him once in a while, man. Don't wait for Father's Day. That day that came about 58 years after Mother's Day, because who gives a shit about men? Hey, thanks for the socks. Great, cool, all wonderful. Hallmark made some more money that day, but once in a while, ladies, once in a while, just thank him. Thank him for being the man that he is, for being willing to put his life on the line to protect you, and for treating you right. It goes a long way. Bill Burr tells a story of when he was with the woman that would become his wife. And he said, one day, I'm out on a hot summer day. I was under the car working on it, sweating, and my wife came out without a word and put down a plate with a sandwich on it and a cold beer right next to it and walked away. He said, I still think about that from time to time because it was wonderful just to be acknowledged in that way. So if you think I'm joking, I'm not. Thank your man once in a while, and please tell your lady friends to do the same. That small gesture will go a long way just to make that guy feel good about being him and being willing to do the things that he does to make you happy. Because that song doesn't take much to make me happy. Ladies, you were lying when you said that. It doesn't take much to make us happy. It takes a lot to make you happy, and that's okay. That's what it is. That's how you are. I love you just the way you are. Sorry, Billy Joel, I stole one of your lines, but I do. I truly love women, but once in a while it would be so nice for you to just turn around and thank us for no reason, unprompted, unsolicited. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And Wisdom, thank you for you. I appreciate you. I truly do. This is a 7-day-a-week thing that I participate with Wisdom. 5 days a week, I create content at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And other than that, I'm listening to the brilliant minds like Greg's Take. I mean, Greg is my favorite wisdomer. I don't mind saying it. Sorry, everybody else. I love you guys, but Greg is the man. And you heard why today. All right, folks. That is enough. Peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.